So maybe we can dive one level deeper and just talk through where are you seeing the most opportunity, most startups being born in this space? Maybe starting with kind of the compliance and transactional piece. Like you mentioned APAR, ledger processing. What are some other use cases that you're seeing, Sarah?
Yeah, so I would say like we're still like really, really early stage on like real like AI startup building for the finance team. So if you think about just like the technology adoption, basically it was like only like last year that we saw like, oh, like now the model is like mature enough. Now there are different types of model. So I think like usually what you see with technology wave is like first like the model, the infrastructure needs to be like good enough, and then you can build application on top. So I would just like take a step back and say like we are still like really, really early in like the application wave. So that is sort of like good news and bad news. So the bad news is like there are like less like off the shelf like tools you could take today. But the good news is like if you are one of like the early movers, I know like a lot of the audience here is like we are like finance leader at tech company, right? So fundamentally, like if you are like excited to like try out some of those like new AI tools, it could really just give you like a step function change in terms of like productivity. So in terms of like specific like use cases I'm already seeing, I would say it's sort of like if you think about like the strengths of LLM is really on the unstructured data, right? So before it's like, okay, we do so much work in Excel and that's like all structure, but like there are so much data outside of Excel. And one specific example, like I remember like from my Stripe days, like very vividly, it's just like there are like so many contracts, right? And like there are like legal documents, like customer contracts, and then it affects finance because there are like all different terms, right? I was like, sales team, why do you negotiate like a million different terms? And then it makes like forecasting so difficult. And like each contract is like 20, 40 pages with addendum. And this is just like customer contract, right? And then on the other hand, you have like vendor contract, and that's like another huge pool. You have like partnership contract. And before it's just like so manual, like for like a human being to like open up like 50 PDF document, each with like 50 pages, trying to do like control F. And now basically what I'm seeing is like they're like, for example, like company, AI company, essentially their superpower is like they take those contracts and then they just like synthesize the information for you. So it's sort of like contract management, but on a high level, it also applies to like the finance use case. It's like, for example, for sales contract, to do my forecasting or like to help the sales team, I care about all those like key terms. Then essentially like the AI tool can just like extract like all the terms for you from like hundreds of like contracts all at once, and then it's still linked to all the source. You're like, okay, this is like customer C, they have like all this term, it doesn't look right, and then it give you the ability to directly go back to the source so you could check it. But overall it's just like step function change than like going through like hundreds PDF.
What I'm hearing a lot of is, activities that a deal desk or maybe revenue or business operations leader would have historically done in the past in terms of doing it manually, going through it. But now a lot of it, to your point, is like taking that unstructured data and really structuring and synthesizing. What are the key takeaways from that?